What's one small but meaningful thing employers could do better to support their employees from your generation?
I would say like a once a week or even bi-weekly check-in with your employees. I really benefit from that myself because I feel more valued as an employee when I have, say my boss or manager or even just other coworkers walk in and, ask how I'm doing, do I need help with anything? Do I have any questions? It just makes me feel more valued, but also that I'm not being left behind and just kind of ensuring that all the work gets done. So I think check-ins regarding work or even just mental health, life happens to everybody, and I think it's really important to just check up on your coworkers and yeah.
Yeah, that's a really fair question to ask. I feel like the surface answer, is just to really try and have that genuine care for your employees. Obviously, if you hire them and you're working with them, then you're going to get to know them well. One thing that I would say is always to kind of look at it from an employee first standpoint, and maybe kind of ask your employee, is there anything that I can be doing or anything that I can offer you that's going to help you to do your job in the best way possible? So having that perspective, and I think especially as well when you're working with people who are younger and maybe they're entering the workforce for the first time, or it's their first time in this type of position, just keeping in mind that not all mistakes are bad. Obviously we want to avoid mistakes in certain areas, but they are also necessary to growth. And so I think approaching a leadership role with that mentality is going to be really helpful when you're dealing with younger people.
To better support my generation. A better understanding, I think, would be something that would help. Most people think that we're looking for something that's easy to do, or that we already know how to do it, but we are the bridge between the gaps of information and IT generation. So we not only don't just know the information, but we know how to look up the information. Understanding that would be a big help.
Flexibility. I think Gen Z, especially because most of us are still students, that sometimes there's unexpecteds that come up. So maybe this week I have an exam every day of the week, so that shift doesn't work for me. So some employers would maybe really frown upon exchanging a shift with a coworker or calling in sick. I personally really appreciate the flexibility of, okay, I'm really, really sick today, or I have an appointment. So is it okay if I can, if I can switch this shift with a coworker? Being supportive and accepting of everyone's schedules when you're younger, because it's not my full-time job. It's not, okay, I'm coming to work every single day. I might only have one shift a week, but I have all of these other responsibilities as a student going on.
Definitely a little more reassurance. I feel like we're in the day and age of social media and everything's very always on the internet and always online, and there's always constant validation for how people feel. And I think sometimes in my generation, a little goes a long way, and just a little push or a little nudge in the right direction and just a little reassurance on that you are trying, you are doing your best, because there is a stigma around people my age that we don't like to work hard and we don't like jobs. But I feel like sometimes that comes from us feeling underappreciated because we're always told how harder we should be working and less about appreciated for what we're already doing. And I think a little could go a long way in that sense.
Thank you.